My husband took out $200,000 in loans using my name, and I did not know anything about it until debt collectors started calling me at work. And when I finally tried to leave him, he looked me in the eyes and said, if you walk out that door, you are responsible for every single dollar of that debt. If you want to know what happened next, make sure you subscribe to her words because this story is going to shock you. My name is Amanda. I am 32 years old, and I need to tell you about the day my entire life fell apart. The day I discovered that the man I trusted with everything had been lying to me for years. The day I found out that my husband had destroyed my life without me even knowing it. This is my story. I met Ryan when I was 25 years old. He was handsome and charming and he made me laugh. We dated for 2 years before we got married. Ryan worked in sales. He made decent money. I worked as a nurse at a hospital. Together we had a comfortable life. Nothing fancy, but we were happy. Or at least I thought we were. We had a daughter named Sophie. She's 5 years old now. She is the light of my life. Ryan was a good father. He loved Sophie. He played with her. He read her bedtime stories. From the outside we looked like the perfect family. But behind closed doors, things were not as perfect as they seemed. Ryan had always been secretive about money. He handled all our finances. He paid the bills. He managed our bank accounts. I trusted him. I never questioned it. I was busy with work and taking care of Sophie. I thought Ryan had everything under control. I had no idea what he was really doing. It started on a Tuesday morning. I was at work at the hospital. It was a normal day. I was checking on patients. My phone rang. It was a number I did not recognize. I almost did not answer it. But something told me I should. Hello? I said, Is this Amanda Carter? A man's voice said, Yes, this is Amanda. I said, who is this? My name is John. I am calling from First National Loan Services. I am calling about your overdue payment. You are currently 3 months behind on your loan. The balance is $47,000. We need to discuss payment options immediately. I felt confused. What loan? I said. I do not have a loan with your company. I think you have the wrong person. The man on the phone sounded annoyed. Ma'am, we have your social security number. We have your address. We have all your information. You took out this loan 18 months ago, and you have not made a payment in 3 months. If you do not pay, we will be forced to take legal action. I felt my heart start to race. There has to be a mistake, I said. I never took out a loan. I do not know what you are talking about. The man said he would send me documents proving the loan was in my name. He hung up. I stood there holding my phone. I felt sick. What was he talking about? What loan? I tried to push it out of my mind. I told myself it was a mistake. Maybe it was a scam. People get scam calls all the time. I went back to work. But I could not stop thinking about it. 2 days later, I got another call. This time from a different company. They said I owed $32,000 on a personal loan. Again, I told them there was a mistake. I never took out any loan. They said they would be sending me to collections if I did not pay. I started to panic. 2 different companies calling me about loans I never took out. Something was very wrong. That night after Sophie went to bed, I sat down at the computer. I went online and pulled up my credit report. I had never checked it before. I had never had a reason to. But now I needed to see what was going on. When the report loaded on the screen, I felt like I could not breathe. There were loans. So many loans. Personal loans. Credit cards. Lines of credit. All in my name. All with balances. I scrolled down the page. My hands were shaking. $47,000. $32,000. $55,000. $28,000. The numbers kept going. I added them up in my head. Over $200,000. $200,000 in debt. In my name. And I had no idea how it got there. I felt like I was going to throw up. How did this happen? Who did this? And then a terrible thought came into my mind. Ryan. Ryan handled all our finances. Ryan had access to all my information. My social security number, my bank accounts, Everything. Could Ryan have done this? No, I pushed the thought away. Ryan would never do something like this. He loved me. He was my husband. He would not steal my identity and take out loans in my name. There had to be another explanation. Maybe someone hacked my information. Maybe it was identity theft. Maybe someone stole my identity and used it to get loans. That had to be it. I waited until Ryan got home from work. He walked in the door and kissed me on the cheek. Hey, baby said. How was your day? I need to talk to you, I said. My voice was shaking. Ryan looked at me. What is wrong? He asked. I have been getting phone calls, I said. From debt collectors. They are saying I owe money. On loans. Lots of loans. Ryan, I checked my credit report. There is over $200,000 in debt in my name. And I did not take out any of those loans. Ryan's face went pale. What? He said. Are you serious? Yes, I said. I am serious. Someone used my information to get loans. I think someone stole my identity. Ryan sat down on the couch. He put his head in his hands. Oh my God, he said. This is terrible. We need to figure out what happened. We need to call the police. We need to report this. I felt a little bit of relief. Ryan was taking this seriously. He was going to help me fix this. We would figure it out together. We would find out who did this and we would make them pay. Over the next few days, more debt collectors called. Every single day. Sometimes multiple times a day. They called me at work. They called me at home. They left voicemails. They sent emails. They were relentless. And every time they called, the amount of money they said I owed got bigger and bigger. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I was so stressed I felt like I was losing my mind. Ryan kept saying we would figure it out. He kept saying everything would be okay, but nothing was okay. My credit was destroyed. I had debt collectors calling me constantly. And I had no idea how to fix it. 1 week after the first phone call, I decided to hire a lawyer. I needed help. I needed someone who knew what to do. I found a lawyer named Sarah Brooks who specialized in identity theft cases. I made an appointment to see her. I went to her office and told her everything. I showed her my credit report. I showed her the emails from the debt collectors. Sarah listened carefully. Then she said she would investigate. She said she would find out who took out these loans and how they did it. 2 days later, Sarah called me. She said she had found something. She said I needed to come to her office right away. I drove there as fast as I could. When I walked into her office, Sarah had a serious look on her face. Amanda, I need to show you something, she said. She handed me a stack of papers. These are copies of the loan applications, she said. Look at the signatures. I looked at the papers. Each one had a signature at the bottom. The name said Amanda Carter. My name. But the handwriting did not look like mine. I stared at the signatures. They looked familiar, but I could not place it. And then it hit me. The handwriting looked like Ryan's handwriting. No, I said. No, this cannot be right. Sarah looked at me with sad eyes. Amanda, I think your husband took out these loans, she said. All of them. He used your name. Your social security number, your information. And he has been doing it for years. I felt the room start to spin. I could not breathe. This could not be true. Ryan would not do this to me. He was my husband. He loved me. He would never steal from me. He would never destroy my credit. He would never put me in this kind of debt. But the evidence was right in front of me. The signatures, the dates, the addresses. Everything pointed to Ryan. He had done this. He had taken out $200,000 in loans using my name. And I had no idea. I went home that day in a daze. I did not know what to do. I did not know what to say. When I walked in the door, Sophie ran up to me and hugged me. Mommy, she said. I missed you. I hugged her tight. I missed you too, baby, I said. I looked up and saw Ryan standing in the kitchen. He smiled at me. Hey, babe, he said. How was your day? I looked at him. The man I had married. The man I had trusted. The man who had destroyed my life. And I felt something inside me break. I knew in that moment that nothing was ever going to be the same again. We need to talk, I said. Right now. After Sophie went to bed that night, I sat Ryan down at the kitchen table. My hands were shaking, but I tried to stay calm. I had the loan documents in a folder in front of me. Ryan looked at me with a confused expression on his face. He had no idea what was coming. "What is going on, Amanda?" he asked. "You have been acting weird all day. I opened the folder and pulled out the loan documents. I laid them on the table in front of him. "I hired a lawyer," I said. "She investigated the loans. And she found these." Ryan looked down at the papers. His face went white. "These are loan applications," I said. "Loans that were taken out in my name. Look at the signatures, Ryan. Look at them." Ryan picked up one of the papers. His hands were shaking now too. He stared at the signature. He did not say anything. "That is your handwriting," I said. My voice was getting louder now. "You signed my name. You used my information. You took out all these loans. $200,000, Ryan. $200,000 in my name. And you never told me." Ryan put the paper down. He looked at me. And then he did something I did not expect. He started crying. "I am so sorry, Amanda," he said. "I am so sorry." My heart sank. So it was true. He had really done this. Why? I asked. "Why would you do this to me?" Ryan put his head in his hands. "I made some bad investments," he said. "A few years ago. I thought I could make us a lot of money. I thought I could set us up for life. But the investments failed. And I lost everything. I lost all our savings. I felt sick." "What do you mean you lost our savings?" Ryan looked up at me with red eyes. "The $30,000 we had saved. It is gone. I invested it all. And I lost it." I stood up from the table. I felt like the room was spinning. "You lost $30,000? Our emergency fund. The money we were saving to buy a house?" Ryan nodded. "I am sorry," he said. "I thought I could make it back. I thought I could fix it before you found out. So I took out a small loan. Just $10,000. I was going to invest it and make back what I lost. But you did not make it back, did you?" I said. Ryan shook his head. "No, I lost that too, so I took out another loan. And then another. I kept thinking the next investment would be the one that worked, the one that would fix everything. But it never did. And the debt just kept getting bigger and bigger." I sat back down. I could not believe what I was hearing. "So you have been doing this for how long?" 3 years, Ryan said quietly. "Maybe 4 years? I screamed. "You have been lying to me for 4 years?" Ryan started crying harder. "I did not know what else to do," he said. "I was in too deep. I could not tell you. I was ashamed. I thought I could fix it. I really did. Fix it?" I said. "Ryan, you destroyed my credit. You put me in $200,000 of debt. Debt collectors are calling me every single day. How are you planning to fix this?" Ryan did not answer. He just sat there crying. I felt anger rising in my chest. Where did the money go? I asked, "What did you spend it on?" Ryan looked away. "Investments." He said. "I told you. I was trying to make the money back. What kind of investments?" I asked. Different things," Ryan said. "Stocks, crypto, business opportunities." I stared at him. "Business opportunities? What business opportunities?" Ryan was quiet. "Tell me the truth, Ryan," I said. "Where did the money really go?" Ryan took a deep breath. "Some of it went to investments," he said. "But some of it I used to pay off the other loans. It became a cycle. I would take out a new loan to pay off an old loan. And then I would need another loan to pay off that one. It just kept going. I felt like I was going to be sick." "So you were just moving debt around? You were not even trying to fix it?" "I was trying," Ryan said. "I swear I was trying. But then I made some mistakes." "What mistakes?" I asked. Ryan looked down at the table. "I started gambling," he said quietly. I felt my blood run cold. "What did you say?" Ryan looked up at me. "I started going to the casino," he said. "I thought I could win money. I thought I could win enough to pay off the loans. But I did not win. I lost. I lost a lot. How much?" I asked. My voice was shaking. Ryan did not answer. How much, Ryan? I yelled. Maybe 50,000, he said. Maybe more. I stood up so fast my chair fell backward. You gambled away $50,000? $50,000 of my money? It was not supposed to be like this, Ryan said. I thought I could win. I really thought I could fix everything. I started pacing around the kitchen. I could not breathe. I could not think. My husband had stolen my identity. He had put me in massive debt. He had gambled away thousands of dollars. And he had been lying to me for 4 years. I want a divorce, I said. Ryan stood up. What? No, Amanda, please. I am done, I said. I am done. With you. I am done with your lies. I want you out of this house. Amanda, please, Ryan said. He walked toward me. Please do not do this. We can fix this. We can work through this together. Together? I said. You did this alone, Ryan. You made these choices alone. You lied to me alone. There is no together anymore. Ryan grabbed my arm. Please. He said. Think about Sophie. Think about our family. I pulled my arm away. Do not talk to me about family, I said. You destroyed our family when you decided to steal from me. Ryan's face changed. The sadness was gone. Now he looked angry. You think you can just leave me, he said. You think you can just walk away? Yes, I said. That is exactly what I am going to do. Ryan laughed. It was a mean laugh. A cold laugh. If you leave me, you are still responsible for the debt, he said. I looked at him. What are you talking about? Those loans, Ryan said. They are in your name. Even if we get divorced, you are still legally responsible for them. The debt does not just go away, Amanda. I felt panic rising in my chest. That is not true, I said. You took those loans out. Not me. You committed fraud. Ryan shook his head. Prove it, he said. You think anyone is going to believe you did not know about these loans? We are married, Amanda. We live together. We share everything. Who is going to believe you had no idea what was happening? I stared at him. I could not believe what I was hearing. Are you threatening me? I am telling you the truth, Ryan said. If you leave me, you are going to be stuck with $200,000 in debt. Your credit is already destroyed. You will never be able to buy a house. You will never be able to get a car loan. You will never be able to get a credit card. Your life is ruined, Amanda. And if you leave me, it is only going to get worse. I felt tears streaming down my face. You did this, I said. You ruined my life, and you are stuck with me, Ryan said. So you better figure out how we are going to fix this together. Because if you leave me, I will make sure you lose everything. Ryan walked out of the kitchen. I heard him go upstairs. I heard the bedroom door slam. And I stood there alone in the kitchen crying. I grabbed my phone and called Rachel. Rachel was my best friend. She answered on the first ring. Amanda? She said, what is wrong? I told her everything. About the loans. About Ryan gambling. About him threatening me. Rachel listened to everything. When I was done talking, she said, you need to get out of that house, Amanda. Right now. But, he said, I am responsible for the debt, I said. He said if I leave him, I will lose everything. He is manipulating you, Rachel said. He is trying to control you. You need to talk to your lawyer. You need to find out what your options are. But Amanda, you cannot stay with him. He is dangerous. Rachel was right. I knew she was right. But I was terrified. I was terrified of losing everything. I was terrified of being buried in debt for the rest of my life. I was terrified of what Ryan would do if I tried to leave. That night, I barely slept. I lay in bed next to Ryan. He was sleeping peacefully like nothing had happened. Like he had not just destroyed my entire life. I stared at the ceiling and thought about what I was going to do. In the morning, I made a decision. I was going to leave. I did not care what Ryan said. I did not care about the debt. I needed to get myself and Sophie out of that house. I needed to protect us. I waited until Ryan left for work. Then I packed a bag for myself and Sophie. I called my mom and asked if we could stay with her for a while. She said yes. She asked what was wrong, but I told her I would explain later. I picked Sophie up from kindergarten early. She asked where we were going. I told her we were going to visit Grandma for a few days. She smiled. She loved visiting Grandma. We drove to my mom's house. My mom opened the door and saw my face. She knew immediately that something was very wrong. She hugged me tight. And for the first time in days I felt safe. That night after Sophie went to sleep, I told my mom everything. She listened without interrupting. When I was done, she looked at me and said, "You did the right thing leaving, and we are going to fight this. We are going to make sure Ryan does not get away with this." I wanted to believe her. But I did not know how we were going to fight this. I did not know if it was even possible to fix what Ryan had done. All I knew was that my life had been destroyed. And the man I loved was the one who destroyed it. I stayed at my mom's house for 3 days before Ryan started calling. He called me over and over, 20 times, 30 times. I did not answer. He left voicemails. At first the voicemails were apologetic. He said he was sorry. He said he loved me. He said we could work this out. But then the voicemails changed. They got angry. He said I had no right to take Sophie away from him. He said I was making a huge mistake. He said I was going to regret leaving him. On the 4th day, Ryan showed up at my mom's house. He knocked on the door. My mom answered it. I could hear them talking from the living room. Ryan was asking to see Sophie. My mom said no. Ryan got louder. He said Sophie was his daughter and he had a right to see her. My mom told him to leave or she would call the police. Ryan left. But I knew this was not over. That same day I went back to see Sarah the lawyer. I sat in her office and told her everything that had happened. I told her Ryan admitted to taking out the loans. I told her about the gambling. I told her about his threats. I told her I had left him and I wanted a divorce. Sarah listened carefully and took notes. When I was done talking, Sarah looked at me with serious eyes. "Amanda, this is a complicated situation," she said. "Legally, you are responsible for those loans because they are in your name. Even though Ryan took them out without your permission, it is going to be very difficult to prove that in court. But he admitted it," I said. "He told me he did it." "I can testify." Sarah nodded. "That will help," she said. "But Amanda, you have to understand something. You and Ryan are married. You share a household. Courts are going to assume you knew about these loans. Proving you had no knowledge is going to be hard." I felt my stomach drop. "So what do I do?" I asked. "Am I just stuck with this debt forever?" Sarah shook her head. "No, there are things we can do. First, we need to file a police report for identity theft. Ryan used your personal information without your consent to commit fraud. That is a crime. If we can get the police to investigate and charge him, it will help your case." "Okay," I said. "I will file a report." Second, Sarah continued. "We need to gather as much evidence as possible. Bank statements, emails, text messages, anything that shows Ryan was hiding this from you. Anything that proves you were not involved." I nodded. "I can do that." And third, Sarah said, "You need to file for divorce. The sooner the better. We need to make it clear that you are separating your finances from Ryan. That you are not responsible for any debts he takes on moving forward." I took a deep breath. "Okay, let's do it." That afternoon I went to the police station. I sat down with a detective named Martinez. I told him everything. About the loans. About Ryan using my information. About the gambling. Detective Martinez listened and wrote everything down. When I was done, he said he would open an investigation. He said it would take time. He said I needed to be patient. But he said if they found evidence that Ryan committed fraud, they would arrest him. I left the police station feeling a little bit of hope. Maybe this could be fixed. Maybe Ryan would face consequences for what he did. Maybe I could clear my name and move on with my life. But that hope did not last long. 2 days later, I got a call from my bank. They said someone had tried to access my account. They said the person had my login information, but the security questions were answered incorrectly, so they blocked the access. I knew immediately it was Ryan. He was trying to get into my bank account. He was trying to take whatever money I had left. I called Sarah. She told me to change all my passwords immediately. She told me to open a new bank account that Ryan did not know about. She told me to move my money there. I did everything she said, but I was terrified. Ryan was getting desperate, and desperate people do dangerous things. A week after I left, Ryan and I filed for divorce. Sarah filed the papers for me. Ryan was served with the divorce papers at work. That night he called me screaming. He said I was destroying our family. He said I was being selfish. He said Sophie was going to hate me for this. I hung up on him. The next day Ryan called again. This time he was calm. Too calm. Amanda, we need to talk, he said. About the debt. I do not want to talk to you, I said. You need to listen to me, Ryan said. If you go through with this divorce, you are going to be responsible for half of everything, including the debt. That is $100,000, Amanda. $100,000 that you will owe. That is not how this works, I said. You committed fraud. You took those loans out. Not me. Ryan laughed. Good luck proving that, he said. You really think a judge is going to believe you had no idea what was going on? We are married, Amanda. We live together. You will look like an idiot in court. I felt anger boiling inside me. You are a liar, I said. And you are going to pay for what you did. No, Amanda, Ryan said. You are going to pay. And when this is all over, you are going to wish you never left me. He hung up. I sat there holding my phone. I felt scared. Really scared. Ryan was not going to let this go. He was going to fight me every step of the way. Over the next few weeks, things got worse. Ryan started turning people against me. He called his family and told them I had abandoned him. He told them I had taken Sophie away for no reason. He told them I was trying to destroy him. His family started calling me. They told me I was being cruel. They told me I needed to go back to him. They told me I was ruining Sophie's life. I stopped answering their calls. Then Ryan started playing games with Sophie. When he had visitation, he would ask her questions. He would ask her if she was happy at Grandma's house. He would ask her if she missed him. He would tell her that Mommy was the reason they were not living together anymore. Sophie started coming home from visits with Ryan upset and confused. She would ask me why we could not go home. She would ask me why Daddy was so sad. It broke my heart. I went back to Sarah and told her what was happening. She said Ryan was trying to manipulate Sophie. She said we needed to document everything. She said we needed to show the court that Ryan was using Sophie as a weapon against me. I started keeping a journal. I wrote down everything Ryan said. Everything he did. Every time Sophie came home upset. 1 month after I filed for divorce, I got a letter in the mail. It was from a collections agency. They said I owed $73,000 on one of the loans. They said if I did not pay, they were going to sue me. I called Sarah in a panic. She said not to worry. She said we were building a case. She said once the police finished their investigation, things would get better. But the police investigation was taking forever. Detective Martinez called me once to ask more questions. Then I did not hear from him for weeks. I called him. He said they were still investigating. He said these things take time, but I did not have time. The debt collectors were not going to wait. They were coming after me now. I could not get a credit card. I could not get a car loan. I tried to rent an apartment so Sophie and I could move out of my mom's house. But every landlord denied my application because of my credit. I was stuck. I could not move forward with my life because of what Ryan had done. Then one day Sarah called me. Amanda, I need you to come to my office, she said. I found something. I drove to her office immediately. When I walked in, Sarah had a serious look on her face. She handed me a folder. I have been going through Ryan's financial records, she said, and I found something interesting. What is it? I asked. Sarah opened the folder. Some of the loan money did not go to gambling, she said. And it did not go to investments either. Where did it go? I asked. To another woman, Sarah said. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. What? Sarah showed me bank statements. Large transfers to someone named Jessica Williams. Thousands of dollars. Over and over again for 2 years. Ryan was sending money to another woman. While he was destroying my credit. While he was putting me in debt. He was spending the money on someone else. I looked at Sarah. Who is Jessica Williams? I asked. Sarah handed me another paper. It was a photograph. A woman with blonde hair and a big smile. I am not sure yet, Sarah said. But I am going to find out. I stared at the photo. I felt numb. My husband had not just stolen from me. He had been cheating on me too. And he had used my money to do it. That night I could not sleep. I kept thinking about everything. The loans, the lies, the gambling, and now another woman. How had I been so blind? How had I not seen what was happening? The next morning, Detective Martinez called me. He said he had news. He said they had finished their investigation. And what he told me next changed everything. Detective Martinez asked me to come to the police station. I drove there with my heart pounding. When I walked into his office, he had a folder on his desk. "Sit down, Amanda," he said. I sat down. My hands were shaking. We finished our investigation. Detective Martinez said, "And we have enough evidence to charge your husband with identity theft and fraud." I felt tears start to form in my eyes. "Really?" I asked. Detective Martinez nodded. We compared the signatures on the loan documents to Ryan's handwriting. They match. We also pulled security footage from one of the banks where a loan was approved. Ryan is on camera signing the documents. He pretended to be you. He used your information. He committed fraud. Oh my God, I said. So what happens now? We are going to arrest him, Detective Martinez said. Today, we have a warrant. Officers are on their way to his location right now. I put my hand over my mouth. I could not believe this was really happening. Ryan was going to be arrested. He was finally going to face consequences for what he did to me. But Amanda, Detective Martinez said, I need you to understand something. Even though we are charging Ryan with fraud, you are still legally responsible for the debt right now. You will need to work with your lawyer to clear your name in civil court. The criminal charges will help your case, but it does not automatically erase the debt. I nodded. I understand. Thank you, Detective. Thank you for believing me. I left the police station and drove straight to Sarah's office. I told her what Detective Martinez said. Sarah smiled. This is exactly what we needed, she said. With Ryan being charged criminally, it will be much easier to prove you were a victim. We can use this in your divorce case and in clearing your credit. 2 hours later, I got a phone call from Ryan's mother. She was screaming at me through the phone. How could you do this to him? She yelled. You had your own husband arrested. What kind of person are you? A person who was stolen from, I said calmly. Your son committed fraud. He destroyed my credit. He put me in debt. And now he has to face the consequences. She hung up on me. I did not care. I was done caring what Ryan's family thought of me. That night I explained everything to Sophie. I kept it simple. I told her that Daddy had made some bad choices. I told her Daddy had to go away for a little while to think about what he did. Sophie cried. She asked if it was her fault. I held her tight and told her no. None of this was her fault. This was between grown-ups. She did not do anything wrong. The next few months were hard. Ryan was in jail waiting for his trial. His family blamed me. They said I was vindictive. They said I was cruel for having him arrested. But I did not care anymore. I knew the truth. And the truth was that Ryan had destroyed my life and now he was paying for it. Sarah filed motions in court. She presented all the evidence. The police report. The criminal charges. The bank statements showing I had no access to the loan money. The fact that Ryan had hidden everything from me. Slowly things started to move in my direction. The judge ordered a forensic accountant to review all of Ryan's financial activity. The accountant found everything. The gambling losses. The money sent to Jessica Williams. The lies. Everything was laid out in a detailed report, and then we found out who Jessica Williams was. Sarah hired a private investigator. The investigator discovered that Jessica was a woman Ryan had been seeing for almost 3 years. He had been having an affair. He had been using the loan money to pay for hotel rooms, expensive dinners, gifts, trips. He had spent over $60,000 on this woman while I was at home taking care of our daughter. When I found out, I did not even cry. I was past crying. I just felt empty. The man I married did not exist. The man I thought I knew was a liar and a cheater and a thief. And I had wasted years of my life with him. Ryan's trial happened 6 months after his arrest. I had to testify. I sat in the courtroom and told the jury everything. About the phone calls from debt collectors. About finding the loans on my credit report. About confronting Ryan. About him admitting what he did. About him threatening me when I tried to leave. Ryan's lawyer tried to make me look bad. He asked if I really expected people to believe I had no idea my husband was taking out massive loans. He asked why I never checked our finances. He tried to make it seem like I was involved. But Sarah had prepared me for this. I stayed calm. I told the truth. I said I trusted my husband. I said I had no reason to suspect he was committing fraud. I said I was a victim just like the banks he stole from. The jury deliberated for 2 days. When they came back, they found Ryan guilty on all charges. Identity theft, fraud, forgery. The judge sentenced him to 4 years in prison. Ryan's family screamed in the courtroom. His mother stood up and yelled that this was my fault. Security had to escort her out. I sat there quietly. I did not feel happy. I did not feel victorious. I just felt tired. After the criminal trial, my divorce case moved forward. With Ryan's criminal conviction, it was easy to prove I was not responsible for the debt. The judge ruled that all loans taken out fraudulently were Ryan's responsibility, not mine. The judge ordered the loan companies to remove the debt from my credit report. The judge also granted me full custody of Sophie. Ryan would only get supervised visitation once he was released from prison. It took almost a year, but eventually my credit was cleared. The debt was gone from my report. I could finally breathe again. I could finally start rebuilding my life. I got my own apartment. A small 2-bedroom place for me and Sophie. It was not much, but it was ours. Sophie decorated her room with pink curtains and stuffed animals. She seemed happier, more settled. She was starting to heal from everything that had happened. I started therapy. I needed help processing everything. My therapist told me I had been through trauma. She said what Ryan did was financial abuse. She said it was going to take time to trust people again, to trust myself again. But she said I was strong. She said I had done the right thing by leaving. She said I had protected myself and my daughter. And that was what mattered most. Linda, Jessica Williams, stopped contacting Ryan once he went to prison. She disappeared. I never tried to find her. I did not care about her anymore. She could live with the fact that she helped destroy a family. Ryan is still in prison. He will be there for another 2 years. He writes letters to Sophie sometimes. I let her read them if she wants to, but most of the time she does not. She is angry at him. She feels betrayed. I do not push her to forgive him. That is something she will have to decide for herself when she is older. As for me, I am doing better now. I am working full-time again. I am saving money again, slowly, carefully. I check my credit report every single month now. I will never let anyone have access to my financial information again. I will never blindly trust someone again. And I'm okay with that. Trust has to be earned. And Ryan destroyed any trust I had. My name is Amanda. My husband took out $200,000 in loans using my name. When I found out and tried to leave, he threatened me. He told me I was responsible for the debt. He tried to trap me, but I fought back. I got a lawyer. I went to the police. I refused to let him destroy me. And I won. If you are in a relationship and your partner is hiding money from you or controlling your finances, please pay attention. Financial abuse is real. It can destroy your life. Check your credit report. Ask questions. Do not let anyone make you feel crazy for wanting to know where your money is going. Protect yourself. Because if something feels wrong, it probably is. If this story touched you, please subscribe to Her Words right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another real story like this one. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever experienced financial abuse? Have you ever had someone steal your identity? Let me know. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, please share it with them. We need to spread awareness. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.